We're out here, Professor and I are using military shelter halves, and what we did is we come up here to make our bedding, and what we're going to do is gather some of this pine duff, and we're going to try to make an insulated bed because it's kind of muddy down there, plus it'll be a lot more comfortable. So we're going to gather as much of this duff as we can handle, and some hay too, and we're going to make a nice insulation bed. So we're going to get to work, and I'll come back to you in a bit. Alrighty, as I said, Professor and I are going to make insulation beds tonight. What we do is we took our shelter halves, came up here under these pine trees, and gathered as much duff as we could fit, and tying them up. We're also going to gather some hay, and this is about how much we can get in a trip. And I think between the sticks, the hay, and this stuff, we should be good, and it's nice and soft to lay on. So, but I'm gonna put a little bit more on mine, and then we're gonna tie them up, and we're gonna head and get some hay. Alrighty, Captain Bart over here's got his hammock rig set up, and the wind's coming from that direction tonight. That direction. So, Professor and I are gonna set up our military shelter halves, opposing each other, and the fire in the middle. And what we're doing is we got pine duff for bedding, and I'm just making a little wall on either side of the bed to keep everything in place. And then once I get this little wall made, I'll go over and gather some pencil-sized green sticks, long ones, and lay them in here to kind of keep me off the mud, and at the same time kind of make it like a spring. So, and then we'll put the duff on top until we're comfortable with it, and that'll be our bed for the night. So right now I'm just staking out so the two posts have a place to rest, and then when I'm all done, I'll probably take a piece of cord and tie the two sticks together to make sure everything's nice and snug. Kind of like a vise. Right. So what I did to judge the distance is I just stood in here with my arms straight down, and then looked on the other side and kind of measured that way. I don't want it to be too wide because I don't want to have to gather any more materials than I have to. Kind of a guesstimated shoulder width, or just better than shoulder width? Yeah, because you don't want it super wide because then you have to gather all kinds of more materials. And I had another stick around here somewhere and I dropped it. Right there? Right there? I got it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use poles to set our shelter halves up. And Captain Bart here's got this little awning to help hold some heat in. We're going to have him tie out to our shelter poles on the end to hold his tarp out. And we'll have all a big cooking fire in the middle. We should have a nice night tonight. It's supposed to get down to 24 degrees tonight with clear skies. And as you can see, we're kind of in an open spot. It's open sky, so we don't have a lot of overhead cover. We got the trees, but there's no foliage on them, so that heat loss through radiation will be large and in effect this evening. And I have all these poles here that I was going to build a shelter with, but instead what I'm doing is I'm picking the ones I want, like this guy here. Make sure you're not straddling it when you lift it up. You didn't want kids anyway. Lift it up, and then you go just a little bit above your head, and then you cut it off there, and that's how long your pole needs to be. It doesn't need to be any longer than that, because otherwise you're wasting materials. So I'm just come over here to the makeshift to the table saw. Take my Northwest Woodsman buck saw. Timber! You got it. Take the buck saw back up on these roots. Right there. Come back over here. And what I do is I pay attention to the ends. I put a thick end at one end, and the next one, the thick end, will go the opposite end. Kind of keystone them in. Right, so they're not high end and a low end.
You're not pitched, you're actually
Right.
laying level, kind of like you would build a log cabin.
We also are on somewhat of a hill, so this will also help keep me from rolling down the hill in the middle of the night. Alrighty, I'm gathering these real small, thin twigs. And this is what you don't want. These things with these long spikes on them. I'm going to try to cut this one out of here, or break it under. That's going to be the foot end of my bed, so I'm not too concerned about it, but as you can see, I cut my glove up on it and tore my glove up. Gathering these guys, a bunch of them, putting them down first, and it kind of acts as a spring, and it also helps keep us up off the wet ground, and it'll keep our duff from getting real wet. I'm going to gather some more, put it down at the head, and some more at the feet, and get that going. This is what the professor's gathered so far. It's like corn stalks and vines and all kinds of stuff.
Now the idea here is that we have the big stuff on the bottom.
Right.
And then as we go up, finer and finer, because those things hurt your back, but they are springy.
And we also got
those up off the ground.
Those big piles of duff we collected. That's the top soft layer.
This right here, we consider this to be our inner spring mattress.
Yeah.
Okay, as we go up, then we go out to our pillow top.
It kind of
mashes down.
There's something in there that's sharp though, because I just got stuck by it.
This is real good stuff here.
Yeah.
I don't know just what that is. That's good stuff. We want that. You know.
I'm gonna have to get up and gather me some of that stuff.
Yeah, we ought to get you a big wad of that.
Because I'm thinking the thicker the better.
Now that's why Bartman has his big axe there. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big knife. We get in there with that, man. He is gonna slay that stuff.
We're gonna get up here and gather some more stuff. All right, next layer is these corn stalks, and we're putting a bunch of these on. I still have to gather a lot more of these, but just cover this whole bed with them, and you can already tell that it's kind of posture sprung.
Yeah, this is your Bush Bumming 29's Posturpedic.
Yeah. And then Professor's already got his done. He went up and gathered more of the big stuff while I was fiddling around down here, and got his done. And that's about maybe a little above knee high. And just long enough for him to lay on. Mine's going to have to be a little bit longer, but
the biggest fear I have, Ryan, is this looks to me like a giant tinder bundle.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so now what if tonight, you know, we put some of that wood on there that kind of spits and pops, and then that spits a spark over in there, and then the wind starts blowing on our tinder bundle. That's just exactly the same way that we start our fire.
Well, we would stay plenty warm.
Then we would serve the professor with onions and bacon.
But we're going to need to cover something. I think we want to cover that up and make that a little bit
I've got an extra shelter half I think I'm going to throw over mine. And that'll, I don't think a spark will go through that. And that'll keep everything under control. Plus that'll help control any sap that'll come out of this. Yeah. I don't think anything will come out of it, but...
Once again here, we're going to try to go it tonight with just the wool blanket and see how it goes.
I got my sleeping bag. I don't have a wool blanket, but I got my wool blanket shirt.
I've got all that stuff in reserve. I'm going to leave that out of the mix for now.
Once we get our beds done, I think we'll have to start organizing our gear. Bart's pretty much got his done.
Hope Bart's
and got some firewood ready. And
yeah, he's not.
Mine's scattered all over. Professor's was down there and over here. So.
I gotta get a drink.
Here's the next layer of Ryan's bed. It's cornstalk and some sort of cane plant. Basically just that stuff that grows about that big around, kind of weedy. But it's got a nice hollow structure. It kind of looks like it's styrofoam on the inside when you cut it. So it'll provide a decent insulation, keep you up off the cold ground. And he is bringing his pine duff bundle, that monster right there. Talk to the people, Ryan.
I am going to untie this knot that I tied, and it's not a specific knot, it's just kind of one of those.
Yacht knots?
Yeah.
That's a yacht knot to tie.
And this is throwaway rope, so instead of trying to fiddle with the knot,
we're going to take an Alexandrian solution and cut a clean tangle. Cut a tangle clean with a sharp blade. Yeah, there, I got it.
And now it's the process of trying to get this all on the bed.
David, I think we're going to need your assistance here if I'm filming.
Oh, I forgot to untie one. Well, I have those snapped up.
There we go. There we go.
Right, now this is the pillow top of the Bush Bumming 29 Posturepedic mattress. Soon to be available at your finer home stores.
I'm going through and I'm trying to pick out the big twigs that I can see. I don't want them sticking me in the back in the night, or any pine cones or anything like that. At the same time, I'm kind of fluffing it.
Ryan's got an exclusive contract with Bed Bath & Beyond to provide these for the masses.
I think I might need another trip.
You think? Once you get that all kind of tucked in, I think it'd be all right.
I think a test run.
That's right.
Time for the test rest.
My years of experience with straw mattresses, okay? One thing you're going to want to do is get your shoulder half on there and then waller out you a little kind of a trench right down in the middle of it. Because if that's lumpy like that, that just feels real bad under your legs.
And what we're going to do tonight to keep the sparks off there is, if I can get this one down here. You want to help me lay this out, Professor?
Get around here, fellers.
And lay this guy. I got a couple of these, so we're going to lay that over top so our fire doesn't spark our bed. And we want to stay warm, but we don't want to get that hot.
Yeah, burning bed's bad.
And so,
try her out there, Ryan. Let's get your first
Flop!
You want to feel for those lumps and stuff under your legs.
I definitely need more duff. But it's very nice. It's very comfortable. I can sleep here.
He's going for the pillow top effect.
He wants the Tempur-Pedic special.
Yeah, he wants the top.
Bushcraft Tempur-Pedic.
I guess say it is very, very comfortable. I didn't think it would be that comfortable. I thought it would be, you know, kind of scratchy and kind of lumpy, but with this pine duff, it's very old, dry, you know, fluffy pine duff, and once you fluff it up, it really is really nice to lay on. And with all them other things underneath, I could still feel them running in different parts of my back and that, and I'm not all the way up either, but you know, it's not bad. It's pretty nice. What do you guys got to say about it?
Lunchtime.
I think one more loaded duff. I won't do that till after lunch, but we've got plenty of sunlight yet. But one more loaded duff and I'll be comfortable for the night. Then we just got to set up our shelter half so it's going to be our cover. Get our fire going, get our gear arranged, and we're good to go for the night. Alrighty, that's the professor's shelter there. You can see his brush bed, and Bartman's hammock, and I'm inside my shelter here. And
explain to me why we take him with us.
I gotta go up and get more.
Ryan's gonna have to edit this video.
more pine needles, because this bed's fairly comfortable, but I want it to be more comfortable. So I'm gonna go up and gather more pine needles, and then we're pretty well set up. I mean, the only downside I can see to these shelters is when you're in a group like this, you got lines going everywhere. And Bart's gonna have to come on that side where he's standing because there's lines everywhere. And we're gonna have to be careful around the fire too with these lines. So, and then once I go up and I'm gonna go up and get some more pine duff, and then we'll get a fire going and get some lunch on the go, coffee and all that stuff, and then we'll work on everything else from there. Alrighty, we got our shelter set up.
Cheesy Irish accent, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my shelter. And got my duff hut in there. I'm gonna have to go get another pile of duff, like I said.
Professor's shelter half.
Captain Bart's filming.
Ryan's shelter half.
Professor's filming.
Bart's hammock.
And then this is a professor's shelter half. And the winds are supposed to come from that direction tonight.
Right there.
And
Right there.
I'm really surprised at how well that little shelter cuts the wind out. You really can't feel anything. So we're going to eat some lunch. We got some summer sausage, King's Hawaiian sweet rolls, and provolone cheese. We're going to make a quick lunch, and then Professor and I are going to go gather some more duff, because the beds are good as is, but I want them to be even better, because it's just amazing how well that bush bed works. So and then we're going to get all our gear organized. My gear's just sitting here in a pile. I'm going to use my backpack as a pillow. I'm going to try not to have to use my sleeping bag. It's going to be in there. I'm going to be laying on top of it, but that's what's going on. And then I got all my junk laid out. I'm going to try to organize it. I might even do a little video laying my bed with my new cook kit. We've got 2 stools here, and Captain Bart's got his hammock to sit in. And we've got a good pile of wood cut up over there, and I got some cut up over here. And we got the only bad thing about this setup is we've got all these guy lines going everywhere, so you kind of have to watch for them. Mine's coming out here, and then Professor's going out to the tree, and then we got his going out here, mine's coming out here. So pretty much Bart's either got to step over stuff or come in from that way. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to try to get some lunch and get some more duff and get organized, and then we'll start doing other stuff.